Okay, people, this is the weight training program that I promised I would go over for you here in the gym. Weight training for Y runners. This is a routine that I've created for, that's based on my own routine that I've done for years, but I trimmed it off a little bit, trimmed some of the exercise off that I felt were a little redundant, and left you with just the things that I find are the can't do without exercises. You'll see routine A, which is upper body, and I included a couple abs there. And you'll see routine B, which is lower body, with a couple of abs there. There's 3 columns here. There's the name of the exercises, there is the body parts that's worked, and there's the number of sets and repetitions that I prefer everybody to work with. You'll notice I only do 1 set of everything. I started to find out that it really drives me crazy to come in here when I only had 30 minutes and find I'm spending 15 minutes of my time sitting on the equipment waiting for the next rep that I can start. You don't want to leave your equipment either because someone will take it in a gym. So rather than do multiple reps, why not just add more exercise that you can move exercise to exercise, and the entire time you're here you're actually filling the space with lifting. So 1 set of everything I do, 15 to 20 reps. Find a weight that you can do 15 times, and before long you will find that you'll be able to do 16 of that, 17, a few weeks later maybe 20. When you feel like you can do more than 20, the weight needs to be now heavier, and then go back to 15. So don't focus on the weight. Try to find the reps that you can do to the point you begin to strain, the weight you can do that you begin to strain to number 15. Okay? A few weeks later you might be able to do 17 of the same, 18. When you can do 20 and you can do more than 20, it's time to make it heavier, go back to 15 and start again. You'll find you'll have to go through that cycle a few times, and ultimately you're going to arrive about as strong as you're going to get on this routine. For your height and weight ratio, for your muscular balances and imbalances, okay? And also the amount that you're running. If you're running a lot of miles, okay, you're not going to be as strong as you would be as if you did less miles. But you also have to think, how strong do I have to be? Not every really strong guy can run really well in a 5K race, okay? Just focus on the repetitions and come what may with whatever weight is produced, staying between the range of 15 to 20 reps. Okay, when should you do routine A and routine B? I would tell you as Y runners, you're runners who lift, you're not lifters who run. So you don't have to weight lift every single day. I do routine A and routine B twice a week. Okay, so I do this 1, 2, 3, 4 in a week time. You might be able to do fine with just this and this. So pick one day to do routine A during the week, pick another day to do routine B for the week, and call it a week. I would advise you never to do routine B, legs, the day before a long run or the day before a speed workout. You can, but you're asking for a really bad long run and a really bad speed workout. Your legs are going to be like jello, okay? So I've been caught in that trap. Sometimes I just suck it up and do it, but that's usually the no-no. Upper body you can do before a long run and before a speed workout and probably not have too much trouble. Let's see. So you could do the whole thing at once, which is 15 minutes plus 15 minutes, which is 30 minutes of working out on your off day, which doesn't mean you can't work out that day, it just means you don't run that day. Take your Friday off day and move it to, like, say, a Thursday or a Monday, and make that your lifting day, or maybe even a Sunday would be your lifting day, where you just come into the gym and you just do the whole routine for the week, one day. Or split it up, do routine A on a Monday and routine B on a Thursday. Okay, however you want to break it up. Just make sure whatever you did last, if you did B last and you came in here after a week, just remember the last time you did B last, so you remember you're going to do A. Don't do A and then come back in a week later and do A again before doing B. Just always move A, B, A, B, A, B. And I think that is it. The only thing I would say is the reason I included the body parts being worked here is if you did forget what the exercise was and you showed it to the attendant here, maybe the trainer on duty, and you said, I'm trying to work this exercise, and the trainer looked at what I called it and said, well, I don't really know exactly what that is, but I do see the body part, I'll show you another exercise that you can do for the day. It's really about making sure these muscles are worked. The other thing I'd like to tell you, the benefit of doing this, okay, I'm all about time management for you. You know that is with my running program, I'm all about time management for you. Same for lifting. I want you in, I want you to get your workout, I want you to get home, okay? 15 minutes of your time, people. You can find 15 minutes to rip through this, okay? You'll get very fluent at doing these, and you'll be able to get through that very easily. And I guess that's it. I think we'll take you through the weight training routine, okay? Okay, we're going to do the chest press right now. There it is, chest press. These are the muscles it works. Chest, obviously. And of course, you're using a little bit of the frontal of the shoulders there, and you're using the triceps because you're pushing. So, you've got, just like the shoulder press that goes up and down, you've got a seat adjustment here that goes up and down. I would say just sit on the equipment and just figure out what's wrong when you're on there. So what you're basically looking for, the seat height should be determined by where this would be. These are positioned. So you got to imagine this is a bar going right across, okay? Just like a bench press. You wouldn't have it going right across your neck. So find your sternum. Raise this up to where that cuts right across the sternum, okay? So you certainly wouldn't want it cutting across your face. You don't want it coming across your belly. That's pretty good right there. Okay, that's in position. Second thing, you want to make sure the range of motion here is right. You can go really deep if you want. You can bring it up a little bit. I always like to go in the center. There's A, B, C, D, and E here. C for center. A, B, C, and D. You can see the letters on this side. I'm going to put that right in the middle. That seems to work for me. It's just my preference. You don't need your head, so relax your head. Push straight out. Tap and go. I mentioned that before. Tap and go. When it comes to these exercises, make sure that you always keep tension. Whenever you're doing a weight exercise, make sure there's always tension on the repetitions. So I'm never relaxing my arms per se. I'm touching the plate to the other plate and moving forward. Okay? The wrong way to do this, I'll demonstrate, would be to rest and then hit another rep, rest, and then do another rep. You don't want to do it that way. Just keep a nice steady flow. 1 second out, 2 seconds out would be preferred. So here we go. 2 seconds out, 1, 2. Hold for a half a second. 1, 2, 3 on the return trip. 1, 2, half a second. 1, 2, 3 on the return trip. That applies to every exercise that we do. Okay? Always come back slower than you go out. As far as breathing goes, make sure as you're pressing the weight, okay, the stack is going up, that's when you exhale, and then you inhale on the return trip. So exhale, hold, inhale on the return trip. Okay, people, this one here is a B exercise. This is on the leg routine. If you look down here, it's lower back hyperextension. Okay? And I'm going to demonstrate that right now. This is a very good exercise for runners. We walk through the Y all the time. We walk by this exercise, and we're always conditioned to thinking if it doesn't have weight on it, it can't be good for you. Well, everybody walks by this all the time. This is the best exercise for stabilizing your core when you're running. When we get tired, okay, in a race, we tend to slump right here. This is going to keep your posture really straight, okay? So you just kind of, you got a setting here, you got this thing here, which I'm not going to fuss with because it's very frustrating here in this gym. Some of them are a little easier than others. This is a tougher one. But you got to pull that out, and you can adjust this up or down. The height of this should be determined by when you're saddled into it. You should have about 2 inches from your pelvic bone down to there. Okay, about 2 inches. I'm about 3 inches here, probably a little too short, but this is good enough. Did you hear that? The Y will be closing in 30 minutes. I better get done. Okay. Your calves should be hitting the back of the seat here, back of these mats here. Cross your arms across you. You got to get your arms out of your way. Get your hair out of your way. You know I got a lot of hair. I got to get out of my way. Okay. Head up, so your back stays straight. Your starting and ending point should look pretty much like you just got off a ski jump. Cross your arms, down, 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 down. Squeeze in the back, and straight up. Okay? Just like that. Down. And up. People always think, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall if I do this. No, you're not. You will not fall. The way this is constructed, there's no way that's going to happen. Just go down and squeeze in the back. Okay? This is getting your lower back, your glute, and your hamstring. Your hamstring seizing up here too. It would be the same thing if you had your leg swinging backward. Okay, same thing. Leg swinging backward. So, this gives you a lot of driving power too. Okay, all set. Okay, what we're going to do now is a seated row. This one is right here, seated row. Second one on routine A. This gets your upper back and your biceps. If you look actually right over here, you can see it covers quite a bit. This exercise here will feel only like it's working your arms, but truthfully, it works a lot of the upper back. Matter of fact, if there's 3 exercises you ever want to do, seated row is one of them. It's just one exercise that covers a great deal of muscles in a single movement. This one here involves a lot of, you have to have a lot of, you gotta have a lot of technique here. So I'm gonna go over this. Plant your feet up here, grab hold, make sure the weight's set where you need it. Now you gotta get in a position here, okay? So I'm gonna scoot back just like this. Now I'm in position. You got to pump your chest up like this. The reason for that is you've got to keep that lower back nice and straight, okay? And this is what you're going to do. Just going to hold on, chin up, hold to your waist, just like this. Notice my arms, upper back are doing all the work. My lower back is not doing the work. You know you're going too heavy when you see this happening. Once you start hoisting like this, okay, you're throwing your back and forth, you're doing it wrong. So make sure you're stiff like this, okay? And that's it. People ask about breathing. Make sure you exhale as you're pressing the weight, okay? As the weight stack is coming up, that's where you're exhaling. Okay, people are going to do the shoulder press here. You can see there it is listed, shoulder press. And you can see the body parts it works, shoulders, and a little bit of the tricep. Okay. So what we got here is, there it is, shoulder press right there, routine A. Okay. All right. Same thing we went over, if you look at the chest press that I went over, there was an adjustment on the seat. This is one of the only adjustments right here, up and down. Once again, it doesn't matter where it is, just sit in the equipment and figure out what's wrong. Now right here, looks like I said it right. These handlebars should be equivalent to your shoulders. So I'm just going to bring that down just a bit. Okay, looks pretty good. So an example of it not being correct, way too high. Okay, it's too deep, I can't get low enough with my arms. And then this one here, it's just too high. This would be appropriate if you found you just couldn't go too deep. But like to keep it right about shoulder width apart. Okay? Set it on a weight that you think reasonably you can do 15 times. Put your head back, you don't need your head. Plant your feet firm. Push right up overhead. Just like that. Once again, I'm touching and going and counting about 2 seconds out, holding, and 1, 2, 3 seconds back. Now I'm just going to go over one other small thing here. I usually go over when I'm on this machinery. When I first started doing shoulder press, I was given by my father a barbell. And I used to sit upright, straight like this. And I used to go with my wrists like this and push straight up overhead. Well, I did that for years. And up until probably 5 years ago, I found I started getting pain in my shoulders. In here and here. It got pretty extreme. It hurt first when I started doing the exercise. It started to hurt all the time. When I reached for anything, I thought for sure I destroyed my shoulders. Been lifting for many, many years. I thought maybe that was it. Cartilage damage. Start thinking the worst things. And I could have gone to the doctor and got something checked out. And the doctor might have gone in there, examined what's going on, found all kinds of damage, and attributed that to the pain. Well, of course I probably have damage in there. Who doesn't, who's been lifting for a number of years? But that doesn't mean that was the cause of the pain. One trainer showed me that by changing the angle of the seat, and by changing the wrist direction from here to here, as this one does, no pain. Not only did the pain stop, I didn't feel it when I did the exercise, but by continuing to do this in the weeks ahead, the pain stopped altogether. So I'm very glad I didn't go to the doctor, for the doctor to go in there and tear up my shoulders because we thought the pain was attributed to some damage they saw in the shoulders. So sometimes technique is the solution to pain ceasing. Don't be quick to rush in and think that you did something wrong. Just change the technique. Okay? Okay, people, we've got 3 exercises we can do right from this spot. 3 of the exercises on here can all be done right in a row right here. I'm going to start with the first one, triceps pushdown, which works this part of your arm right here. Okay? You actually have 2 parts of your arm. You got this part of the tricep and this part of the tricep. We're going to work on this one because that one's associated with this movement a little bit more. If I was to turn my wrist out like this, or excuse me, like this, that would be the other part of the arm. Okay? Alright, I'm going to show you here. You've got these beams here. They both go up and down. I'm going to set this up high, locking in it. I'm putting this in high so that my arms can do this movement. Okay. This is a T-bar here. If you can't find it here, you usually can find it around the gym somewhere. Just clip it in. That's good. The weight, you want to keep it on something you know you can do 15 times. You got to get into position first. You don't start from here. So I'm going to get into position. So you got to put your arms down like this, pinch your elbows in, almost as if you're expecting to hold 2 pieces of paper right between your armpits there. Okay? There it is. Chin is up. Don't lean into it so much. And just straight down. Just like that. Make sure the muscle that is being worked, in this case the tricep, is doing all the work. You know you're going too heavy if you find yourself doing this. Okay? You don't want to be hoisting or jerking the motion in such a way like that. Okay? Let the arm do the work. Notice my elbow is never leaving my side. It stays exactly where it is. Only thing moving is my forearm. Okay? We're working this part of the arm right here, as I said. This part of the tricep right here. If we were to go underhand, we would be getting the back here. You don't need to do that. Just pick one of the 2. I like this one because it's mostly associated with running. Seems to be more like running. Okay, just like that. Is it better to do one arm of each or one leg of each. It is better for you to do one arm at a time, okay, which you can do here by using something else, okay, one arm at a time. But you just took a 15-minute routine if you do go from double leg and double arms to single arms. Excuse me, if you start doing single of everything as opposed to double of everything, you just took a 15-minute routine and you made it 30 minutes. How much time do you have in the gym? Just do both, okay? Okay. And now I'll show you the next one here. So we're done with triceps pushdown. Now I'm going to show you arm curl. And I'm going to show you something upright row. Arm curl, of course, gets this part of your arm here. Upright row gets the trapezius right in here. As a matter of fact, there's only a few exercises you can really get this. We did the seated row. That gets all your upper back, but it discounts right in here. And it discounts the lower back. Okay? That's why we do lower back hyperextension. Seated row for the other part of the back. This gets the final piece here. So I'm going to do upright row next. Now upright row, you can use a T-bar, something like this. Okay, and pull it up to your chin like this. However, using the T-bar, the problem with that is your wrists really don't have a lot of, they don't have a lot of options here. When you pull this up, you kind of have to keep your wrists fixed in this position. So I prefer to use these that give your wrists more flexibility. They give you lots of directions to go. So as I'm pulling up here, and this is the movement, okay, you got to put your weight on there, and there's the weight. I got it. Chin up, pull straight to your chin. Once again, my wrists have a lot of flexibility here, so I don't feel any wrist pain doing this. Straight up. Now make sure that the cable is running parallel to the body, just like this. Okay? Don't have it going perpendicular to the body, hitting your forehead. Make sure you're kind of lined up with it. And just glide your wrist right up to your chin. Okay? That's the movement. All right, next one I'm going to do is arm curl. I do prefer a T-bar than using these. As a matter of fact, the whole point of using a T-bar, same thing as opposed to using a barbell for this movement. The reason I like to use the pulley instead of, say, dumbbell curls or a barbell where you're standing straight vertical like this and doing the exercise this way, or doing these, is that's great. You're getting stronger here. Maybe you go up in weight because you can do more than 20, so you up the weight and you go back to 15 reps each arm. Okay? But your lower back isn't getting much stronger doing that, so as you have to add weight to a barbell, you add more stress to the lower back. This removes the whole problem of stress to the lower back, because you can lean backward, okay? That's what this allows you to do. It allows you to lean backward, that the arms can truly do the work. The other thing about the cable that I like, you know, there's a lot of stability going on here that you have to do. And that's it, okay? Arm curl. Okay, since I'm here, folks, right here to do abs, I'm going to go over all 4 ab exercises. I have 2 right here at the top of routine A, which is straight crunch and twist crunch. I also have 2 more down here, leg raises and bicycles. I'm going to start with these 2, straight crunch and twist crunch, and I'm going to go down and do leg raises and bicycles. Okay? Everybody always asks about abs, as if they can order body parts to a trainer. I want to work about here, and then I want to work on this, and I want to work on this. Well, just work the whole body. Okay? But if you really want the secret to abs, honestly, most of you Y runners, you're already doing it. You're runners. Okay? You're already doing a lot for your abs when you run. The second thing as Y runners is you're doing speed work. Nothing will make nicer abs than speed work, honestly. But if you really want to go the rest of the way or to strengthen up the core, okay, for the performance, okay, and take it to another level, this is the way to go. All 4 of these exercises you could do right in front of a TV set. It could be right in front of me right now. Okay, I'm going to start with a straight punch. The traditional way of doing sit-ups, in the old days somebody would hold your feet down, and you would put your hands behind your head, and you would come all the way up like this. Well, that's a lot of work, and who wants to bring somebody, have to bother people at the gym all the time to hold your feet down? Crunches are the way to go. Now, rather than do crunches like this, I like to make it a little tougher by bringing my feet right up in the air. Okay, so I can work my hip flexors a little bit, and I can already feel I'm seizing up right here. Put your fingers on the side of your head. Don't put your hands behind your head like this. Okay, this is no longer considered good practice anymore. To do this, when people get tired, they start torquing on their head. So just put your fingers at the side of your head for balance. Okay, so this is what you're doing. You're going to roll up, and the trajectory here is you're trying to bring your nose right between your knees, just like this. Okay, so that's where I'm going to aim. I'm not going to do it, of course, but try to reach as close as you can to your kneecaps, and you're getting the best possible ab exercise for the upper abs is what I'm working on right now. And that's the straight crunch. The twist crunch, which is number 2 on there, is the same thing. It looks like I'm doing the same thing. Same thing. Feet up in the air. Fingers at the side. Now instead of nose between the knees, I'm touching opposite ears to opposite knees. Okay, like that. So here I go. Just try to reach your ears for the opposite knees, and you'll get a really good tight crunch there. So that's getting the upper abs plus a little bit through the sides. The third ab exercise, which is on routine B, leg raises. That one there is pretty tough. Matter of fact, one of my least favorite things to do in the gym. It's so tough to do. People hear me grunting all the time and say, what in the world is this skinny guy over there grunting about? He's not even using any weight. Well, try doing this for 3 minutes. Okay? So here's what you do. I prefer actually to do this on a bench where, once again, range of motion, I can bring my legs below the bench. But you can do it on the floor. So just lay on your back. Start by bringing your feet up like this. Okay? Right away I can feel my whole body seizing up here. Hold the sides of the ground like this. And now you're going to try to eliminate this. You got all this space underneath. You should be able to bring your arm through here. So roll your upper torso up like this. Flatten the lower back there. Bring the legs up. And then right at the end, this is where my flexibility ends. I just bring the knees to the nose. So just like that. Down, 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 down. Don't touch the floor. Keep them elevated the entire time. Start with 15 to 20. You'll notice some of the exercises on this sheet don't say 15 to 20. They say 15 to a question mark. The question mark means no determined amount of reps. Do as many as you feel you need to do. Okay? You might start with 15 to 20, and as you get stronger, go up to 30. Maybe 35 is the way to go. Maybe 40. Good luck doing 60. If you do 60, I'll give you a medal. Maybe. I know I struggle with 60. And that's the movement. All right. Last one. I was looking for a I was looking for a fourth ab exercise for everybody because I like to balance it out a little bit. A few years ago I said, well, let's see what the internet says. What's a tough exercise? Topping most everybody's list, I found out, was this exercise. And I tried it and I didn't think it was that hard. And I thought, why do they do it? Well, the reason they do it is because it more or less combines everything. We did something that did the upper abs. We did something that did the lower abs. This works your lower abs. These work your upper abs. The bicycles kind of combines everything. So here it is. You'll probably recognize it when you see it. I don't do it particularly fast. I like to do it with a little bit of more precision, slow. Okay? So here you go. Get in a position here. Looks like I'm going to do a crunch, but I'm not. This is what I'm doing. Just like that. Minus the force. Just like that. Now I don't do 15 each leg. I just count 15. And then when you can do 15, you think it's getting easy, maybe move up to 20. If it gets easy, move up to 25, 30, 40, 50, 60. I stop at 60. Okay? Okay, we're going to do calf raises next. Calf raises right there. You'll see that I have off stair. You also see I have 15 to a question mark. As runners, I would prefer you not to do calf raises of any kind with any weight. That's just a personal preference for me. Years ago, my Achilles problem began with a bit of pain that started one time when I was doing calf raises with a very big barbell in my hand, or a dumbbell in my hand. And when you're doing speed work, you're already doing calf raises all the time with a lot of force. You're already toeing off. So I'd rather you get the range of motion, a little bit of exercise. I treat calf raises as though it would a sit-up. I don't add weight to it. I just do lots of repetitions. So I'm not going to put you on a machinery here. I'm just going to show you how to do it right off a stair. And you're going to look at it and you're going to think, that's it? Yes, that's it. This is all you're doing. Just find a stair or something that you can hang your feet off a ledge. Get right up. Let your feet droop as far down as they can and straighten all the way up. This is also working on your feet, not just your calves. Okay? And that's it. Up and down. You might do 15, you might do 20, you might do 30, you might do 60. I do 40 of those. That's just my preference. That seems to work for me. Okay. All right, this one's the seated leg press. You can find this at all the YMCAs, the seated leg press. The important thing here, you do have one adjustment. Okay, there it is, seated leg press. It's just leg press there. Works the quads, and of course the hamstrings and the glute. This is one of those mega exercises I mentioned. Seated row and chest press are also two exercises that in one movement it works on a great deal of muscles all at once. So here's the exercise. Plant your feet right up there. Okay. Make sure your feet are high enough that you are pressing with your heels. Don't have them so low that you're pressing through your toes. You want to be pressing with your heels. If you keep them up high enough, you'll feel like that's where your center of gravity is. You also want to have an L like this. So you wouldn't want to have this adjustment, this thing adjusts here, front, up and down. I'm not going to demonstrate because this is a frustrating one to move. Okay, but you wouldn't want to have it down like this far because look, that's past an L. And likewise, you wouldn't want to have it too far back because if you don't want to straighten the legs, you want range of motion. This is where the range of motion is best. Any less than this, it's a little too hard on your knees, I find. So keep that there. Make sure there's no space here. Make sure your tailbone can hit the back here. Okay. Set the weight on something you think is reasonable that you can do 15 times. Head back. Shoulder width apart too. Don't have your feet too close together. Don't have them way out here. Okay? Shoulder width apart. Head back. Straight. Right about to here. Okay? Touch and go, as I said before. 2 seconds up, hold. 3 seconds on the return trip. 15 to 20 times. And one other thing I would tell you here when you're doing this, make sure when you get to here that you don't snap your knees like that. Give them a slight bend, okay? So go all the way down, tap, and stop right just before you would snap them like this. Just keep them slightly bent, okay? You'll get used to doing that after a while. And that's that. Okay, this is leg extension. It works the quadriceps, which this is the part of your leg you would use if you're running downhill. This is what seizes up. I'm always telling you with weight training, one of the greatest things about weight training is it reduces the risk of injury. If you have strong leg muscles, as we've done in some of these exercises, if you develop strong leg muscles, you're going to find that they're going to absorb the shock on impact. And your bones and your ligaments and your tendons aren't going to get so much of that abuse. So I'm going to show you this right now. You got so many adjustments here, it'll drive you nuts. Okay, so I'm sitting in here and I'm just going to show you what's wrong. Let's mess it up even worse. Okay, so I'm sitting in here. What feels wrong? Well, the first thing that feels wrong is, why do I have all this space back here? So I got to get this up against my tailbone. So that feels good. The second thing that feels wrong, I would say that I'm past the L that I want here. This is a little too inverted here. I don't want my knees this far back, so I'm going to move this with this adjustment, A, B, C, and D. Remember, C for center. You can never go wrong. C for center there. And there it is. There's an L. This is about right here. I would say maybe that's probably a little better. You don't want this hanging off your toes. Likewise, you don't want it halfway up your shin. Get it right above your ankle. Lean back, kick your legs forward. That's it. That's the movement. Just like that. This is pretty heavy. I didn't exactly adjust it for my set. And 15 to 20 reps. Another thing here, you'll see this red dot. That's where your knee joint should be. Okay, so you wouldn't want to be scooted up this high with this point up like this, okay? You shouldn't have any space here. You should fall back to the point you can't go back any farther. Then bring this right up to your tailbone and you're locked in nicely here. Okay, once again, that's the movement. Okay, this is leg curl, and you can see this gets to the back of the leg. A little bit of the hip and glute, but I would say really, truly, it's mostly this stuff here, hamstring. Okay, a lot of you always complain when you're doing speed work, hamstring injury. If you increase the demand on your muscles such that it's done exclusively on weights, you will find that the demand on weight training is so much higher than anything you're doing on speed work that if your hamstring gets conditioned to the standard of what's being applied here with regard to weight work, you're going to be less prone to injury when you go to do speed work. Okay? Your hamstrings are going to be able to tolerate that stress because this stress is a little more extreme. Even though this is slow movement, it's putting a lot of force on the muscle. Okay? All right, so this is all messed up here. This is adjustment nightmare. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, all these knobs everywhere. I'll go through each one. The first thing I can tell you right now is I feel like I'm too far back here. Well, the first thing you probably should do is actually make sure that this beam, when it comes down, is not on your kneecaps. And it is, in this case, on my kneecaps. This beam, when it comes down, should be right above your kneecaps. Okay? So I got to kind of scoot up here a little bit. And now I want to make sure that the seat here, there's something up against my back. So I'm going to bring that up. That's good. Now I'm just going to test this. Okay, that's good. That's right above my kneecaps. Range of motion, I like it here on B. It's pretty good, but if you really want a nice C for center, A, B, C, D, E, C works pretty well. Okay. The other last adjustment is this here right around my ankles. Okay. You don't want it hanging off your heels. You don't want it halfway up your calves. Get it right above the ankle. Okay, right above the heel. Right above the heel. Right there. That's pretty good. Shoulder width apart. Bring this down. Head back. And just curl. Now, the whole thing about the L that you get when you're working your quads or you're doing your leg press, you don't have to follow that whole L thing here because you're working the back of your legs. This is not really associated with any stress on the knees. This is all coming from the back. So don't be afraid to curl your feet all the way back here, past the point that is an L. Bring it all the way back. Really squeeze it at the end. Just like that. You could do one leg at a time, but again, doing one leg at a time, you just took this routine and you gave it twice the time. So think about the time that you have. It's better to just do double leg of everything. I don't expect all of your weight training routines to look anything alike after a year. This weight training program that I've given you is really just to lay down some starting point where you can experiment with weightlifting from this point and branch out. But one thing you're going to find with all my weight training is this weight training program targets every muscle group with the same proportionate load relative to each other. Same number of reps, okay? Make sure that the weight is the weight that is proportionate to the other muscles in terms of how heavy it should be. And I make sure that every muscle group gets the same attention. You're not going to have really thick arms and stick legs. You're not going to have a thick neck, okay, and tiny little ankles. Everything is going to be uniform, okay? Another question people have is, why work on arms when running is using so much legs? Why are we working on bicep and tricep? You're trying to raise your lactate threshold, okay, that point that your muscles burn throughout the body. You're trying to raise your lactate threshold throughout the body. So that's what we're doing here. We're making sure that you're completely fit. We're not focusing on any one area. We're making everything balanced so that you're completely conditioned. Okay. Okay, this is not on your schedule. This is the glute machine, but I wanted to demonstrate this one because I wanted to explain to you why we do some of the other exercise. You can see the starting and ending point here. This is what the woman's doing. It works the glute, quads, but it's mostly a glute exercise. I'll show you what it does do. Okay, this is the movement here. You're basically kicking back. I did this for a number of years. I found it to be very effective, okay, for giving me a lot of drive behind me. But the thing I found that was aggravating about it is you bend past the point of the L here, and the knee starts to hurt, okay? Maybe it won't hurt for you now, but if you do this for a number of years, I think you do get some knee trouble from this. I can tell you my knee's already hurting doing this because it's saying, oh yeah, didn't we give this up a long time ago? And why are we doing this again? Well, I thought, well, how am I supposed to work this exercise, which gives me all this power from propelling when I'm running, okay? How am I supposed to work that exercise if I can't bend my knee? I have two that keeps the knee in a fixed position so that you don't have this problem. And one is called the hip ups, which you can do at home, and the other one is just, it's not really kickbacks. These are actually traditionally kickbacks. I call these kickbacks because you really are truly kicking back. Okay? We'll go over this exercise. And here it is. We're going back to the pulley again. And this is how you do it. Just get rid of this here. Okay, there it is. That should be on the bottom, all the way to the bottom. This goes up and down. Make sure it's all the way to the bottom. Keep that hook out. And now you've got to wrap something around yourself here. Now there's a lot of things that people use. There's actually these straps, okay, which actually go right around your ankle. Okay, and you have a loop, and you would put that in there, and you're locked into place. I'm going to put two around here. Well, actually, okay, so that's how you do it. That's locked in. Now, I'm not going to use this strap for the demonstration because I'm just going to tell you these straps here, this Velcro is a little bit weak, so this will actually come unhinged sometimes midway through the workout, and you'll be the person that makes all the noise because this thing will come clanking down because this thing fell right off your foot in mid-exercise. So, rather than use this is my little trick. I actually use that. I put it right around like this, and I just make my own little loop. I put that in there, and I put the other one in there, and there it is. Now I'm locked in. Okay, you just grab hold of this, you put one foot back, the one that's not being used, and then you just simply kick all the way out. It's just like a ballet move, really. Okay, but look, I'm working the glute here, but I'm not bending the knee. Okay? So I'm getting the target area that that other machine that I mentioned is designed for, but without the problem of bending the knee and getting some knee pain. So if you're having trouble, this is the one to do. This is one you have to do one leg at a time. Okay? You have to do one leg at a time for this one. You'll have nothing left to stand on. Okay. Other leg. I clip it in there, and I put the loop on there. Okay, there it is. Other foot. All I'm doing is holding on to these for balance. I'm also leaning forward because my foot doesn't scrape the ground when I do a lean like this. Plus, range of motion again. Okay, if I'm standing here, I'm going from here to here. But if I lean back like this, I've got my leg is like, I'm like seated in a chair here. I have more to bring my leg back. Okay, it's just more range of motion through the hips. Okay. Good. And that is the hip ups, which is found, or excuse me, that's the kickbacks, which is found right there. Hip ups, you can do right on the floor. And I'll do it right here. This is another way to work the glute without bending the knee, or excuse me, moving the knee. That one kept your knee in a fixed position, just like that, and the knee didn't bend. This one here keeps it at a bent position, but doesn't straighten it. All you need is a stack of books. It's about that high. Put your feet right on there. Bring your hips off the ground. Okay, it's just a Michael Jackson move, really. Okay, up and down. Up and down. They're just bridges. Notice I'm digging with my heels here, not my toes. Don't have my toes on here. My heels are here. Up and down. I actually do single leg just to make it a little tougher. this is another exercise. You don't add weight to it. 15 to 20 reps. If that becomes easy, do 30 or 40 or 50. I do 60 of these. Sometimes I even do single leg. Real glute workout. Other leg. But double leg is a good one too. If you can't find this here, I actually prefer using a Bosu ball. These things over here. These work just as well. Just like that. Put your heels right there and there you go. Or a single leg. That's it. That concludes the lifting program for the YMCA running program. If you have any questions about any of these things, I make sure that each of the Ys, at least north and east, I keep this posted on the wall somewhere so that you don't have to come with a sheet of paper looking for it. You can just refer on the wall and see what you have to go. It takes 15 minutes to complete routine A. It takes 15 minutes to complete routine B. Remember that. 15 minutes of your time, people. You come in here, you finish one of our run groups. If you don't have to get out the door in 15 minutes, just think back. When's the last time I lifted? Did I do routine A or did I do routine B? If it was routine A, come in here, go through routine B. Get it done, walk out the door. Another day you come in, I got time, get in routine A, okay? Get your A's and B's in throughout the year. You'll generate thousands of repetitions. You'll notice a change in your body. You'll notice a change in the way you feel when you run. You'll notice you won't be getting injured as much. Plain and simple. Okay? And that's it.